Hey guys, welcome back to BeerGeekNation.com. I'm your host Chris, and this is kind of my GABF / Denver trip 2014. I had gone to GABF in 2012, shot a bunch of video footage. I just wasn't happy with it, so I never posted anything. Missed 2013. 2014, I decided to go back. My wife and I decided to make like a week-long trip out of it. So we actually went out the Saturday before, did a bunch of other stuff, and then went to GABF Thursday, Friday, and flew out Saturday. So I'm drinking on a Hop Deranged for Needy Brewing Quad IPA. It is pretty crazy. It's 13% alcohol by volume, but it's actually really, really good. Pick that up at qualityliquorstore.com if you want to get it. So let's just start from the beginning. We flew in Saturday. We went to the Bull and Bush pub there. We stayed outside of Denver. Hotel prices during beer week are just crazy. They're like $300, $400 a night. So we stayed about 5 miles outside in Cherry Creek, which cuts the hotel price in more than half. We went to the Bull and Bush Saturday night for dinner, which is a brew pub there. It's been around for I think like 40 years. They've been brewing it for the last 20. It was okay. Food was okay. Food was definitely, could be better. The beer was pretty good. And then Sunday was really the start of everything. Started off, we went up to Fort Collins. We were going to do New Belgium, Avery, and Oscar Blues. So we started at New Belgium, and you can see some video of that right here, and I'll just kind of talk over it. Their brew house is just so fantastic. The tour, if you guys get to take it, is fantastic. But when you walk into that brew house, it's just amazing. Just a beautiful, beautiful brew house. They actually let us pour our own samples of beer that day. You get a bunch of beer throughout the tour, and this beer footage you're seeing here is actually me. It's in the brew house. You actually pour your own beer. They let you do that, so that's pretty cool. We then went into the barrel rooms where they do all their barrel sour stuff, and that room is just amazing. It's just gigantic, full of these big foeders of sour beer. We got to try two of the sours, Terroir and La Folie, were both on draft there. And their bottling line, I have never seen a bottling line so big, just the amount of beer they're putting through that. And then on top of that, they actually take you to their canning line, which is in a separate building. It's just an amazing place, an amazing tour. I definitely recommend you guys, if you go out to Denver, hit up Fort Collins, hit up New Belgium. From there, we went to Oscar Blues. We went to their Oscar Blues Solids and Liquids or something like that. It's basically their brew pub. I think it was their first brewery. I didn't shoot any footage there. It was more or less just a restaurant with a bar. Nothing too special. Had a couple of one-offs. I think I had a rye IPA there that was pretty good. They had a West Coast IPA that was pretty good. Nothing too crazy. Food was real good though. Can't complain about that. From there, we went to the Avery Brewery, which is doing their Rumpkin release, the 2004 Rumpkin release, which is, I think, like 16.5% this year. It's a pumpkin ale aged in rum barrels. They were also doing some crazy, crazy one-offs. I got to have the Reverend quad with, I think it was chipotle peppers and cherries. A bunch of old kind of 2012 vintages of some of their beers. Got to try Rumpkin on draft, as well as their Pumpkin, which is their 17% pumpkin porter aged in bourbon barrels. Very cool place. It was a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. Very, very surprised. I don't know if you can kind of tell from the video there, but very, very small place. I guess that's why they're upgrading for sure. They're building a big new facility. So that was Sunday. Monday we went to, didn't do too many beer things. We went to the Red Rocks Amphitheater, which if you get to go, I mean there's no beer there obviously, but it's just, being from Pennsylvania, we wanted to see it just because we don't have anything like that out here, and it was just amazingly breathtaking. I've never seen anything like it. These are all pictures that my wife took here. I didn't take any video there. I don't know why I didn't. I guess I just wasn't in the mood for it, but it's a beautiful place. You can actually, I mean, a bunch of bands have played there, but during the day when they're still setting up for the bands or whatever, you can actually go there and explore kind of the amphitheater. You can explore, there's some geological overlooks that just, they're absolutely breathtaking views. You can see Denver off in the distance. You can just see for miles. And again, I've just never seen anything like that before, and it was just amazing to see. So there's a non-beer related thing. We also went to the Denver Zoo, which I don't have any pictures of that either. I'll have to get it for my wife if I can, but That was a really nice zoo too. It was empty too, man. It was like having a private zoo tour or whatever. All right, so Tuesday and Wednesday we did some other stuff. Didn't really catch any video of it, nothing too crazy. Thursday was the start of the madness. Thursday was the first session of GABF, and you're looking at the video I get of it right here. It's only about like 15 seconds worth. GABF is such it's turned into such a thing, let me put it that way. If I can make one or two recommendations, I would say if you've never been, definitely go to the Thursday one and the Saturday morning one. And even so now, the Thursday one, everyone who's been to it multiple years said the Thursday one this year was way more crowded than it's ever been. And I have to agree that I only went once before in 2012. I just remember Thursday being empty. It was packed this year. It's just so hard to shoot video footage. The lighting's bad. The sound is just overwhelmingly loud. So my recommendation is do the Thursday if you're not a member of the Homebrewers Association. If you are, do the Saturday morning members session because it's very little crowds. Some of the highlights beer-wise this year, there weren't, you know, I'm surprised how much bad beer is there actually. There's so many breweries now that not everyone's brewing great beer. I'm not gonna lie to you. Some of the highlights for me, I got to try the barrel-aged Sierra Nevada Narwhal, which is just amazing. Funky Buddha out of Florida, I got to try their barrel-aged Nikolai Vorloff Imperial Stout, which is probably one of the best barrel-aged beers I've ever had. I got to try the Toppling Goliath Assassin. It was good, not as good as I maybe was hoping. There's a bunch of other stuff. Got to try the Sam Adams Utopias, which I've had before. It's nice because the breweries bring a bunch of one-off stuff that you didn't get to try, and there's just so much. I got to try 2014 Honepu. It took like 5 minutes. The line was pretty short because we get in a little bit early, so we just kind of hit that one. I'm like, are they actually pouring that? And they actually were pouring it, so that was exciting. But yeah, it's just, it gets real ugly real quick in there. It gets so crowded. There's so many people that just want to be there to get drunk, and within like, it's 5:30 to 10 at night, so it's 4.5 hours. By like 7 o'clock, people are just getting sloppy and belligerent. And I mean, there's people like passed out in seats already. I'm like, what is going on? It's crazy to me. You only get 1 ounce pours. So these people just must be, I don't know what they're doing. I mean, I did 5:30 to 10, I was pretty much fine. But I do drink a lot of beer, so and I think the 1 ounce pour for me, it's not enough to really evaluate a beer, so it's more you get to try it. I understand why they do it, but it's tough. It's not something I would go to every year. I think going to Denver and experiencing all the other stuff, all the other breweries, all the other kind of opportunities during that Denver Beer Week are much better than GABF. I think people are starting to think the same way. So Friday was a busy day. It was kind of a media day. We started off and went to a Sam Adams breakfast where Jim Cook was actually there. He announced all the long shot winners, all the homebrew winners. They also introduced Rebel Rouser Double IPA, which is, I think it's like a double IPA version of their Rebel IPA, excuse me. And that was cool. Because that's actually not going to be out until 2015, so we got to try that. We got to take some bottles home of that. So I might be doing a review of that one. They did survive the plane ride. It was a killer breakfast. It was like a breakfast brunch kind of deal. It was at Marlowe's, which is on the 16th Street Mall if you're in Denver. The breakfast was fantastic. It was really cool to kind of actually get to see Jim talk, and you can actually see some of that footage right here. That was actually a highlight of the trip. Great breakfast, great beer. It was basically all you could drink Sam Adams. It was kind of crazy. So. The next thing, kind of last thing I actually shot some footage for was the media luncheon. This was actually right after the Sam Adams brunch. You kind of go up, you go up to I think it's the 38th floor of this Grand Hyatt. It looks out over all the mountains. You can see a little bit out here. It's just a beautiful view. They then take you into this big ballroom and they serve you this big like 6-course meal, and they pair it with all these different beers, and the people who brewed the beers, they were past GABF gold winners. The people who brewed the beers are there. The brewers are talking about the beer. And the highlight for me was Matt Brindleson was there. I've seen him talk, a couple times, and I always like to listen to him talk because he's just so incisive and he's a great brewer, so I take away a lot from him. So that's the footage you're seeing right here. A lot of the other stuff, it's the Brewers Association talking about their numbers and strategies, and the press gets to ask them questions. It was cool. It was very cool. It's interesting to see all the numbers, how much craft beer is growing. They did a lot of wine comparison, wine to beer comparison. They focused a lot on food pairings and how they're trying to get it into kind of the culinary institutes, trying to get these bigger chefs to kind of embrace beer. And I didn't know that the Culinary Institute of America is actually going to start a brewing program funded by, I think Brooklyn Brewing is actually going to help them set that up or something. So that was my week in Denver, the long and short of it. Again, if you ever do get there, there are so many breweries to hit. It's just insane. And I recommend kind of scheduling it out because there's a lot of beer, So with that said, if you guys have any questions, comments, please leave them in the section below. And I look forward to hearing you. And remember, folks, life's too short. Drink amazing beers. Cheers.